nobody like work, but you must hustle if you want job. You no finish, they won't fight us. If them they run, them no fit catch up. I know they form say I too righteous. No
Whispers Empowered is back on your radio, Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. Today is the 24th day in the month of September 2022. We just have like 6 days to the end of September, October, November, and we have December where we have to buy Christmas dress and hairs and all that and eat rice. Good morning to you. It's the Whispers Empowered Show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM, brought to you by Whispers to Humanity with support from Action Aid. As usual, my name is Didi. Mary Jacob is here in the studio, and Ozi Chuku is here too. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Welcome. It's good to have you today again. All right, welcome to today's edition of the program. It's good to have you back, Mary Jacob. Ozi Chuku did an amazing job last week.
Yeah,
Saturday.
I watched. You guys were cute.
All right, last week Saturday we played a radio drama for you, which of course is a continuation of the first radio drama we played for you on Whispers Empowered Show. We talked about a particular village, Umunganga village. Even if I have to forget every other thing in that drama, that name, Umunganga village, where they had a challenge of access to good school, and they complained about their children being violated on their way to school, and they reached out to the state government. The state government promised them to erect a school for them and awarded the contract to a son of the soil who in turn did not complete the project and instead built a massive house for himself. And the villagers remembered him one day. The Bible says there's always a day of reckoning. So that day, last week, was his day of reckoning when the villagers remembered him and stormed his house where they met his mother and told her to inform him to come back and complete the school building. And he came back and he completed the school building for them. So today is a continuation of that radio drama. And last week we talked about the approach that was used by the villagers, where we talk about semi-violent approach. So today we'll be talking about non-violent approaches that you can use in your community to ensure that what you seek is done by the state government or people in power who are in charge of that particular area. So sit tight, relax. When we come back from this short musical break, we talk about the non-violent approaches you can use in your community to achieve results.
Every other day I organize.
Welcome back to the Whispers Empowered Show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. My name is Didi. Mary Jacob is still here. Ozi Chuku is very much in the studio this morning. Before we went on that short musical break, I told you we were talking about some non-violent approaches you can use to ensure that what you want to be seen done in your community is done by appropriate authorities. Mary Jacob, now the floor is open for you to tell us some of these non-violent approaches.
Thank you, Didi. So I was not in the studio last week, but I actually listened to the audio drama and it was amazing. And the audio drama was actually an example of a non-violent approach because they did not go destroying properties, they did not hurt anyone, they did not kill anyone. And we have a couple of campaigns that has happened and some activist actions that has happened in our communities that also happened, like the one we heard over the radio, and we have some that have yielded results nationally, like the Take Back Nigerian action, the campaign to bring back the girls. So many of these campaigns have happened in Nigeria, and we did not indulge in any form of violence, including the Enterns protest even. But then there are other approaches that are homegrown. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I remember saying that that advocacy might sound like it's technical, but it's a very ordinary thing. It's the same thing as all the actions that we take. It's the same thing as all the activities that we take. So did a little draft on my phone. Yeah. So in taking nonviolent approaches two things are major in the in the process of organizing, which is organizing and mobilizing and organizing. Right. I remember the day Nonso was here with us. I don't know how many of our listeners have been following, but about 3 weeks ago, or 3 to 4 weeks ago, we had Nonso in the studio, and we talked about organizing and mobilizing. So organizing and mobilizing on its own is it's a strategy of bringing people together, right, with a common goal. So mobilizing does not necessarily mean to have to be sustainable. So it could just be mobilize 10 people for me, no, and then you have 10 people. While on the other hand, organizing is a longer term of mobilizing. Yeah, you have strategies in place. You're bringing people together, not just to come together for a common goal, but this time to come together with a common goal, with strategies to gain what you want to gain. So in organizing, you're putting in leadership structures, or strategic structures to enable you get to that goal. Okay, but immobilizing is just like a one-time thing. Just like when you're having like a protest, you could actually mobilize to protest. But if you're organizing, you're bringing together and you're following every step of the way. And then when you talk about activism, people want to talk about violence, people want to talk about destruction of properties. People are telling you, if you're an activist, that means you're attacking duty bearers, you're being troublesome with your protests, and then you're taking drastic actions to make the changes. Okay, as much as I don't have an issue with drastic actions, but some of these things, these narratives that you have about activists and activism, like the violence, attacking duty bearers, are things that would actually not just bring drastic change, but bring drastic destruction and disruption into the space, your organizing space, and lasting problems for you as well. So, yeah, in making a non-violent protest, or non-violence mobilizing and organizing and change making process, young people would have to move from violence to peaceful. Okay, from violence to peaceful protesting, to peaceful organizing, to peaceful relationships. Then from the idea of attacking duty bearers to collaborating, partnering, and working with duty bearers to make it happen. Like if anybody that listened to the show last week must have heard when the community said they are calling people who can be of influence. Okay, they are calling people who are influential. They are calling people who this contractor would listen to. They are reaching people,
Mentors.
yeah, and they are reaching their leader. So the duty bearers or the stakeholders are everybody and anybody who has a stake in that process. Anybody and everybody who can make the change you want to see or play a part in it. So instead of causing violent actions or attacking these people, it is, if you're wanting to do take a non-violent action, you would need to start collaborating with these people, partnering with these people. As annoying as it might be, sometimes young people don't even want to hear about politicians, but these people are the people that hold the power. And if you want to make the changes happen, it's on their table. So instead of attacking them, you need to start collaborating with them and partnering with them. Then instead of troublesome and drastic measures, there are more gradual, consistent ways to take your actions. There are more gradual, peaceful ways to start a step-by-step systematic approaches to start looking at changing the narrative, both for your duty bearers, both for the stakeholders who might not be interested in making those changes. Okay, then we have then the characteristics of non-violent actions. So when you have non-violent actions, majorly you're seeing a massive group of people. Okay, if it's a violent action, you cannot have 1,000 young people in nowhere taking a violent action against the town. The town will not remain.
Okay.
When you have a massive number of people, non-violent action involves empathy. Chances are the community in which you're existing understand your story. A non-violent action does not have any form of violence or destruction of property. A non-violent action does not have any form of discrimination. Okay, in the space. Neither do they have plans on fighting or attacking. Basically, they want to find a common ground. And then also, when you have non-violent actions, another characteristic is dialogue. Non-violent actions are open to dialogue. Okay, they want to hear what these people if I'm protesting and it's non-violent, and I'm protesting and I come to Boss FM, chances are I want to hear what Boss FM has to say to me, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm telling them this is what is going wrong, this is what you're not doing right, I want to hear what they want to say. And then you start seeing open, peaceful dialogue happening just because it's a non-violent action. But if I have an issue with Boss FM and I'm coming with my team and I'm saying we have an issue with Boss FM, we have to bring down Boss FM, and we're throwing stones at Boss FM, there is no way we're going to see someone from Boss FM come to have a conversation
Exactly.
with us. Yeah. So it's more consistent, it's more gradual. It might not give you the very fast action and result that you want, but it can give you a lasting solution to your problems, in the sense that you're going to beyond making the changes, you're going to create relationships while making these changes, relationships that can sustain those changes that you want to make and you have made. So in leading or initiating or being part of a non-violent action, there are a couple things that are very necessary that you have. Some of the skills are you have to have like a good communication skill. So even if I am having a protest, even if I want to make a change, even if I want to disrupt the narrative, if I don't have good communication skills, I'm going to come and either curse at people or attack people or say the wrong things that will give the wrong ideas. Worsen the situation, exactly. So it's just going to become an issue because I can't communicate. So if you're going to lead a non-violent action, if you're going to be part of a non-violent action, if you're going to initiate a non-violent action, you have to have good communication skills. So another thing that is necessary in non-violent actions are team spirit. Is team spirit. If a non-violent action is happening and you don't have a team spirit, you're going to even start fighting in the group before you start having to face your opponents and your oppressors. So another thing is you have to be flexible. You have to be diplomatic. Diplomatic comes with having good communication skills as well. But sometimes you have to also be diplomatic with your actions beyond the words that you use. And then you have to be flexible. From the drama we had the past 2 weeks, we had the first week where they went with their king to go and ask the government to give them a school. When they came back, when the school did not happen, they had to be flexible.
Yeah.
They knew their problem was not going to the government again because the money had been given out. So they had to do what was necessary. So you have to be flexible. Even if we decide to have a protest or march to the government house, and our target is the governor, and you hear the governor is in his community, we have to be flexible enough to say, okay, who we need to talk to is the governor. And if we're going to make it happen, we have a massive number of young people in Omuma who can actually mobilize and move at once. So they have to be very flexible if you want to be if you want to take non-violent action. Then another thing that I don't miss out in every kind of involvement, advocacy that you want to do, you have to have a huge level of creativity. So it's not something you get from school. It's something that's in the process of being flexible. You have to be creative enough to know, okay, this is it. This is the situation we have. We have to find a way around this and be able to find a way around this. So if you're not creative with your advocacy, chances are you're going to miss Yan, you're going to miss Steph, you're going to mess up big time.
At the end of the day, you get there and you start praising the people who are oppressing you. I've seen it happen a couple of times when youths move out to the streets and they are telling the government to do something, and the moment they see the governor or someone who is representing the governor, you see them, they start chanting praises, and I'm wondering what's going on.
Exactly. And you can even see from situations like that, you will see that there was no team spirit. You get already there are people who came there with ulterior motives, not the same motive as you came. And then in the process, you will also see that chances are the governor probably gave them transport refunds. So if they start giving them money and everybody's smiling and collecting their money,
1,000.
Exactly. When you're holding 1,000, you don't even know how to speak against these people again. So you have to be flexible enough to know, okay, yeah, we need this money, but this is not what we came for. All right. And at this point, I remember some time ago, leading a youth platform here in Nigeria, we needed to have a meeting, okay, with some duty bearers. And then the story had always been that when we want to have such meetings, we reach out to them and tell them we want to meet with you, and then they make provisions for our flight tickets, our hotel accommodation, and then we come and meet with them. So when I started leading this platform, I told them we want to meet with you. And they're like, oh, we don't have budget for it. Like, yeah, that's the point. We're not meeting with you with budgets. Just give us a date, we'll come. And they were like, you will come, all of you. And we're like, yeah, we will come. When we had the meeting, the woman we went to meet actually said something. They said, you know what, Mary Jacob, I took you more seriously when you said you just needed to meet and you did not need anybody to pay. Funny enough, some of the young people that attended that meeting traveled. The meeting happened in Abuja. And I remember one guy who traveled from Lagos to Abuja with a night bus. He didn't want to miss it and he had work to do on Friday. So he finished with work, he entered a vehicle and made it to Abuja. So people like us might have, okay, some of us afforded flights, economy class, go and come back.
Yeah.
Some of us afforded to enter comfortable vehicles, leave in the morning and reach in the night. And we had to squat with friends, families, or anybody we could find in Abuja. But in sharing the experiences of what every one of us went through to get there, especially for him who traveled on the night bus, these people we were meeting with they saw the energy, they saw the interest, they saw the passion, they saw the need.
Dedication.
Yes, the dedication was there, the involvement, the spirit, everything was there. And they understood that we did not need, the only thing they offered us was water. Because as we're talking now, we need to drink water.
You need to quench your thirst.
Yes, well, apart from that, we didn't take anything. And to be very sincere, conversations like that and situations like that give you more results. Because when these people see and you're having conversations and they give you 1 naira, 2 naira, and you chill and you praise them and you hail them and you go back, tomorrow when you come, before you even reach there, they have kept you 1 naira, 2 naira again. They'll discharge you and you go. And you not have lasting solutions to your problems.
All right. Ozichukwu, would you like to add to some of the things she has pointed out as non-violent approaches?
You asked me a question last week and I could not really answer. You said in a situation where the government is not answering you.
Yeah.
Umunganga got responses. You get the drama was
But in
they
real
were
life
responding.
situation.
Yeah, they are not responses like that. And I was like, when it gets to that point, I don't know what you are going to do. But I thought about it and something came to me. If Umunganga as a case study said, you people don't want to give us school, or yeah now, and maybe there is a comes to the community and he does not see one person outside. He doesn't see people in the market, he doesn't see people in the schools, he doesn't see people anywhere. The bars, everywhere is dry. In as much as you can march out, you can also stay in. It's a form of advocacy. It's a form of saying, if you won't change this thing, we're staying inside. The EndSARS protests, youths came out in their masses and they came outside. We could have also stayed inside. Imagine if you come out and you're not seeing anybody, it's like desert. You will ask them what is going on. What do you want me to do? You will ask them what should I change? Or you people should go, please come outside. Do you understand? So sitting in is also a form of advocacy. It's a non-violent approach for advocacy. If it's planned imagine you plan a month ahead, stock your house and stay inside. You don't need to go outside to buy anything. You don't need, just stay inside your house. The government will ask you what is going on. The period that they were doing this unknown gunmen, I almost said unknown gunmen. The period they were doing, and they said Monday was lockdown. And then you will come to a place that is usually very, very busy and everywhere is silent. That thing shook up a lot of people in Owerri. And imagine that was a form of advocacy. Imagine if people you come out and you don't see anybody, you will be scared. You will go back inside your house. So that's also a form of non-violent. That's a non-violent approach.
Yeah,
to
quite creative.
Yes, very, very creative. If it is planned very well, it can last. You will last 2 months, and to the government tell, okay, this is too much. What do you want us to do?
Okay.
And she said something about inclusion.
Okay.
There's no segregation. The young, the old. During the EndSARS process, there was everybody was outside. Influencers, celebrities, young people, old people. Flexibility she's talking about. They were on the road, they were cooking. You saw people in Lagos, saw people in Abuja doing these matches. You saw people bring out their money, their personal. They didn't ask the government for 1 naira. Some people bring out their personal money. They're flexible. You saw people do businesses on the streets. You saw people take their bath. Some people cook. You saw people eat on the street. You make provisions for people that they don't even know. they had a common goal and they were united. There was no discord within themselves. Yeah, you were saying something.
Okay, you raised a very vital point when you mentioned sitting in. This is real life situation. This is Nigeria. We know there are people who are struggling to eat at least once a day. And someone who has a business, say petty trader who sells vegetables and all that, and cannot even afford to sit in and protest for something the community needs. What should that person do in that situation? I mean, the food wouldn't fall from heaven.
No, it won't fall. That's why I said if it's planned well.
Okay.
If it's if it's a community, if it's Umunganga, and let's say Chinyere is obviously going to the streets to look for her daughter that was kidnapped. So if it's the same support system she talked about inside. If you don't have discord inside, you cannot be broken. So if that support system is around you, there's going to be a problem. As I said, it needs delicate planning.
Okay.
For you, that kind of advocacy, it's not done anyhow. It's not
It's not something you just wake up and
wake up and
announce.
say yes, let us sit in. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
It's you can take months to plan that kind of sitting, that kind of advocacy. But it brings desire because you don't ask them for 1 naira.
Yeah.
You're telling them you won't do, we too will not do. It's a tug of war, more or less. And since you're bigger, you're in mass, they'll have a choice. They will listen to you.
Mary Jacob, let me come to you. When you mentioned about organizing people who would say protest or something like that, non-violent approaches. In every disciple, in amongst the 12 disciples, there's always a Judas. In a situation where you've organized people, you know people who are coming for the say a walk to protest for building or whatever, and definitely there's always going to be somebody there who is sitting on the fence but willingly agree to be part of the movement. And at some point something happens, there's a kind of friction within the people that you've organized. What do you do in a situation like that? How do you manage that kind of situation if something like that comes up?
Okay, so in organizing, mobilizing, any form of advocacy, any form of leadership that anyone is embarking on, internal conflicts are expected. So when I talked about mobilizing is like a quick thing, like mobilize, we get the goal, we are off. But organizing is is way deeper, okay? Because you're organizing these people. And when I mentioned about structures in organizing, it's you expected to have some form of structure, some form of guiding principles. No matter how flexible you want to be as an organization, as a youth platform, there are certain guiding principles that keeps you in check, right? So if you're leading an organizing process, it's young people. I was part of a research last week that was looking at young people's involvement in violent protesting and actions. Yeah. And when a young person is protesting, when a woman is protesting, you're like, oh, it's a woman. Ah, mother. Oh. But when a young person is protesting, the first thing you look like is, he has dread.
Yes, exactly.
Nose ring.
she's wearing bomb shots.
They might break this place. They might take this. They might do this. So when you're organizing, it is necessary that your community that you're organizing with, it's not necessarily like a physical community, but your community of people, your members, your group, your team, understands the goal, and you understand the risk. You make a risk analysis and you're telling them that people are actually looking at you to commit these things. Okay, and you're already planning towards not making it happen, not making it come to pass. All right. When you have people like that, which definitely you would have, and there is a conflict of interest in the space, you already have your guiding principles that are already saying what happens to these people, and they know about it. You already have your plan on that you're taking on a non-violent action, and anybody that goes violent is against this movement and not part of us. So when you have some of these things noted down, if you have a conflict of interest, don't be biased about it. Don't be personal about it. Bring it to the table just the way it is. That is why it works better and more perfect if you have organizing and having a group, and you don't have like a sole leadership. If you have like a group of leaders, if you have a group of decision makers in a group, it's amazing because then nobody takes it personal on you.
Okay.
You're having a conflict of interest. You're disrupting what we are working so hard to build. Okay. Sometimes I would personally advise that you probably give some time for this person to either refrain or choose their parts.
Okay.
And some other times, especially when it's in the heat hour, I would advise that you let this person go. Even if this person is someone you have personally, even if I have a personal relationship with you, and there is a conflict of interest that I feel can disrupt the work and the common goal of what we're doing, chances are I will keep my personal relationship
Aside.
and make sure that the right thing happens.
Okay.
So prioritizing the goal, the mission, and the guiding principles as far as it's not disrupting people. If one single human being or a group of people or a percentage of people are disrupting a huge community of organizing, let them go.
Still on this same issue, you're talking from the aspect of, say, these people are learned, they are exposed, they know what's happening outside the world and around them.
Okay.
Now let's take a cue from the drama, because this conversation stems from this radio drama Umunganga Village,
Yes.
where majority of the youths are not that enlightened.
Yeah.
Say, okay, when they went to the house of the man, the engineer that was in charge of the school building, and maybe they got there out of anger and they are seeing a new house, fine, beautiful house,
Yeah.
while our school is still incomplete, our kids are still struggling to go to school, and you have a good, clean house. Say someone amongst them gets angry and agitated, overboard, and starts destroying things.
Yeah.
How can they contain that situation, bearing in mind that these people are not really enlightened. And he might even go ahead to influence other people,
To do
and they
that.
lose attention for what they come for? How can they contain a situation like that in a village, real life?
Okay, real life. In Umunganga, we had Ebube, the youth leader.
And okay, the one that wanted to study computer engineering.
Yeah. And I want to learn
remember.
computer. You really listen to this drama.
Yeah, why not?
So we had Ebube and Adana who led the process. They went to the king. It was also Ebube and Adana who called for the meeting. All right. So if you also noticed when the agitation got to the contractor's house, Ebube and Adana were also
The forefront.
the forerunners. Do you get? So in every part of it, if you are leading a non-violent action, don't lead it together. Don't lead it alone, rather.
Okay.
Lead it together. So even when somebody from Umunganga, let's say Chinyere, was too angry and started throwing stones at the man's house, okay? Two things could happen. If you drag Chinyere out forcefully and tell her, this is not why we came here, Chinyere is going to feel emotionally drained, traumatized because she's already trying to survive losing her child. Chinyere is going to pounce on you. And chances are when that action happens, so many other protesters, so many of the young people there who have lost one thing or the other,
Side with you
would side with Chinyere. And then you already have a huge conflict
against you.
in the forefront.
Okay.
Then the second thing that can happen is curtailing Chinyere's emotions. Not forcing her, not dragging her, not insisting that she stops. You get? When you start noticing, that's like leaders are like everywhere. When you start noticing that this thing has started happening, Chinyere is throwing tantrums, Chinyere is throwing stones, Chinyere is angry, Chinyere is mad. Understandable. It is your duty to move to Chinyere before Chinyere gets the attention of everybody to join her. And when you're meeting Chinyere, your good communication skills is key. You have to be flexible to tell Chinyere, okay, we could stop now and go home if you don't want to see here. Or Chinyere, we could step aside while the protest is ongoing. You have to be flexible enough to decide what works for Chinyere at the point and what works for the team as well. And at the same time, if you use the wrong words, everybody's going to have a problem with you.
True.
So your communication skills are like top notch. It has to be top notch at that point. You have to convince Chinyere that you are for her. But if you destroy this property, the story will change. And our school might never come. and we might not even be able to find your child. Okay?
Yeah.
That minute, Chinye is most likely going to be throwing tantrums, want to chew, want to hug somebody, want to cry and scream. Are you willing to be that shoulder for her to hug and scream and hold her through the process of this protest? Another thing in communities, in real life situations, you might want to be careful when you're taking non-violent actions. You might want to be very careful on taking people whose emotions are overboard, or people who are particularly pained about a particular situation. So here, if I have personal grudges over an entity in a community and we're going for a protest, chances are I might not be the best person to either lead or be in the forefront.
Exactly. That's what people really do not understand, because definitely your emotions will overcloud
Exactly.
your judgments, and you take actions that you regret later
Yes,
on.
yes. So it's necessary that you understand that, okay, this needs to happen, yes, but everybody needs to put their energy in different situations. If you're doing a creative action and I am personally pained from a situation, if I am a victim of an abuse and we are talking about the same abuse, I can easily be manipulated into going overboard or sliding into depression and deciding not to push further with the case, right? So understanding that my story is valid and needed, but at the same time, I should not be the one leading the process is key. And it's very practical because, like, if I am sharing the story and my knowledge and my experiences is what we're using in leading this process. But at the same time, we have people who are leading the process, but my story is leading and guiding them to lead it. So in practical situations where you have internal conflicts, you have to rush into the management immediately, especially when it's happening outside. But if it's an internal conflict that is happening, like maybe during a meeting or before you get out, you also need to manage it, but you might not need to get like as swift as possible. You might take your time, decide what is best, manage the situation, and know how to properly, strategically put people before you go out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, it's still the Whispers Empowered show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM, and we're talking about non-violent approaches that you can use to get results in your community. If you want to be part of the conversation, the numbers are 090-9222-9922. Better still, send a WhatsApp message to the number 0806 999 Let's quickly go on a short commercial break. When we'll come back, we'll start taking your calls and messages.
8.9 ways to keep you entertained. Others.
Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. And before we went on that break, Mary Jacob and Ozzy Chuku really did justice to the topic of discourse this morning, which is non-violent strategies for mobilizing and organizing. And we drew examples from the radio drama that played last week. Hello, good morning. Good morning, to you, our brother.
Our brother outside the studio.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much, Dr. Peters, for your contribution. He really said a lot of things, urging youths to embrace information like this when it comes to protesting for things they feel that they need in their different communities. We have a WhatsApp message. This one says, "Good morning, Boss Radio. Communication skill is very important in crisis management. Without it, what was intended to bring solution may end up with more problems." And this is from Val C. Thank you very much, Val C, for your message. And as usual, every Saturday we have a question of the day. So you could be a lucky winner of a gift item courtesy of Whispers to Empowered Show. The question for today is, what do you think we should explore to engage more youths in non-violent advocacy and organizing? That is the question of the day. If you know the answers, feel free to call 09092229922 or 09122677989. You can answer the question from sending a WhatsApp message to the number 0806 992 999. Feel free to call in and be a part of the conversation. And if you got the answer correctly, we'll give you an address and a phone number to call for you to go and claim your prize. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name and your location? You're welcome. Oh. Okay, go ahead, Darlington.
If you can have more youth in elective offices, such a value chain would deepen the involvement of the youth.
It's bogus.
So when they see their fellow youth in such position, they are sure that yes, they are a part of the process. That's the sure-footed way we know we can attenuate this ulabalu that is gathering in the policy. That's the only way that's the sure-foot. There are many ways, but I'm pointing on this one in the sense that when we become a part of the process, we own the process. We cherish it. We don't sell it. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Charles, for your contribution. Let's quickly read out this WhatsApp message. This one says, create a system that will engage the youths in productive thinking and creative labor. With this, the mental condition of the youths will be enhanced to know the wise strategy to use for solving diverse problems without engaging violence. When the mind is regenerated, the actions and dispositions will be civil. Also engage them in solution-driven conversations with governments. Okay, thank you very much, Val C. So we have two winners on the program this morning, Ime and Val C. Congratulations, you got the answers correctly. You go to Mary Jacob, your office quickly. Ozichukwu, where's your office located where they can come and claim their prize?
Number 36, Njoku Crescent, World Bank.
Okay, is it like a phone number they can call?
Yes, you call the Whisper phone number.
Okay, Ime and Valsi, this is for you. You are winners for our program this morning. So quickly, Ozichukwu, the phone numbers.
0815-401-4746. Call or message this number on WhatsApp and we'll direct you or give you addresses again to come collect.
All right. Thank you very much, Mary Jacob and Ozichukwu. Thank you for being a part of the program, for your messages and your calls. Don't forget the program bounces back same time, same station next week, Saturday. My name is Didi. Good morning and enjoy your Saturday.
Like broccoli, steady green like broccoli. Steady on my grind, oh yeah, what they want.